What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. And man, yo, this episode was crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Like, low, yo, what the hell am I saying? Like, yo. My God. But seriously, Rick, come on now. Why did you have to kill off Naranja? Why did you guys kill him off, my God? Come on now. But anyway, man, this episode's phenomenal. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. So we start this episode off, of course, we left off last with Butarati, or I guess the boss, Diavolo, coming in there using Zipperman to come in there, take off Requiem Silver Chariot Requiem's arm off, and we'll go from there. So after they get up there, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, it's Butarati, he's back," and everything. And so then he starts to introduce himself, Laranja starts talking, obviously through Giorno's body, and you know Giorno and Butarati's like, I know that, I forget what he said, but he's like, I know that like speech pattern or whatever, that's Laranja, right? And he's like, yeah, and then of course Trish and Giorno introduce themselves as, you know, Mita and Laranja, and so from there, they're all kind of just, and so they're just kind of wondering like what's next, because they switch to their body. They're obviously all wondering, like, oh shit, is Diavolo inside of Butarati's body? And Mista comes in there and says that nah, he hasn't moved an inch, and so that we're good for at least the current moment. So then Silver Chariot Requiem starts to get up a little bit. He's starts to have, they're trying to figure out what to do next. So obviously, of course, because they need to get the arrow, Butarati comes sprinting towards the stand arrow and tries to grab it. But alas, his stand, Zipperman, comes out of his arm and starts to strangle him. And he's like, Silver Chariot, Zipperman, what are you doing? And the next thing we know, sliding down from the wall, I don't even know how he even got up there. You see Zipperman sliding down the wall, about to, I guess, finish him off before Mista comes in there with that clutch save, which, speaking of clutch saves, the Lakers are now in the NBA Finals. Hell yes, ladies and gentlemen. That's fine. Obviously, I'm in a very good mood, because hopefully Miami win Game 6 today, and we're on to the races for the NBA Finals. Hopefully. I'm crossing my fingers that we end up getting Miami and the Lakers for the Finals. I'm hoping for that one. Anyway. So with all that being after that, I'm back on top of the episode. The game was awesome. Man, I'm sorry, I gotta go off, legit. LeBron, this game was on fire! Like, I don't know about y'all, but for any of the people that watch basketball who are watching this video, for these last few games, LeBron has always fell off, like, not in terms of his stats, like, he's been putting up good numbers and shit, but he just doesn't feel the same as he did, like even back into like the first and second round. Like the last, probably since like game 2, maybe game 3, he hasn't really felt like the same. You know, it's all AD's been the one that's really been showing off and impressive. But game 4, LeBron was like, I ain't playing no more. This is time to end this. And my man dropped like, what was it, like, I think he dropped damn near 40 points and got a triple double out of it. So, yeah, LeBron ain't fucking playing. Get ready for finals, LeBron. Oh, y'all ain't ready for that one. That is going to be good to watch. Anyway, enough me talk about basketball. This is an anime channel, not a basketball channel. So anyway, after that, after this thing, and he bounced around. Of course, Superman kind of returns to form and all is good. But the next thing we know, we see through the wall, out comes one of Mista's bullets. And it comes charging right towards him. But then Trish comes in there being like, spicy lady, and, you know, elasticizes it or whatever, the bullet. So it obviously doesn't hurt him. And I think it was number 1, and he starts just like, oh, I'm gonna beat the early shit out of you, you son of a bitch! I'm gonna spray your brain matter all over this place! I don't know what he was saying, but he was just shooting the shit. He was just ranting and raving. So then one of the other numbers kind of like slaps him out of it, and you know, and they're all kind of wondering what's next. So then they kind of find out that they can't really use the arrow, or not. They can't grab the other stands might be supercharged. But they still can't, you know, grab it, because otherwise their stands are going to turn against them. And Laranja mentioned something about like we're all going to be like bird nuts or something. I forget exactly what he said, but he had like, but it was, I forget exactly what he said, but he kind of like had this analogy that like, oh, we're fucked, you know. We're all like burnt to a crisp or whatever. We're gonna be beat or we're gonna get popped up. Whatever the hell he said. I can't remember it off the top of my head at the current moment. But anyway. They're kind of looking around. We also get some more shots of some of the people that have been walking, some of the people that have been like swapped souls. Like we see a dog that was switched with his owner, and the owner is like, "Hey, no howling," as the as the dog talking, but the dog who's now in the owner's body is like, "Oh." You had a mom and her kid switch bodies, and the baby's kind of like taking care of like, "Oh, it's all right," which was kind of a weird sight to see. Not gonna lie, but after that, we then. Number 7 shows up. He's like, who's ever in Pucciarati's body, he's starting to come too. Because I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but because Mista mentioned that he has when number 7 looking over his body in case it moves or anything, so Diablo is indeed in there. So after he wakes up, Bucciarati obviously orders Mista to fire off at him, but Mista's a little hesitant because that's Bucciarati's body, even though he really won't be able to feel it anyway. So he's like, "Oh, don't you just hit him already?" Then Bucciarati tells him to hit him. So my man Mista aims for center mass, gets 2 shots around the chest. And the reason I bring that up is because when you shoot somebody, at least in cosplay, when you aim for, you don't go for like headshot, when you aim for center mass to stop to slow them down. Little fun fact. I'm pretty sure that's the reason, at least it's along those lines. So you learn something new every day, ladies and gentlemen. The more you know. So anyway, after Bucciarati is once again brought down, they kind of just start to think about, they're kind of like, and by this point, Silver Cherry's kind of already left, he's on his way doing whatever. They kind of start to think that, it's all over now, because they still think that Diablo is in his body at the current moment. So they're like, oh, it's over. They're starting to think that that's looking kind of over. We get to Larancha, he's going on about, yeah, I'm going back to school. I'm going to have a margarita pizza and add something on. I don't even know what topping it was he added. I couldn't even pronounce it or even know what it is, so I'm not even gonna bother trying. So it's all everything's all good, and then we have to hear Mista's Larancha's actual voice, as he's going on about Fugo. If he sees him again, he doesn't care if he calls him a Katsukazo or whatever. Which I'm a little bit salty that we never saw Fugo that much because he had a really cool stand that we only ever saw once. I don't know why Rocky didn't show more. Maybe because it was a little too powerful. It's like, I gotta get rid of this guy. I made it too powerful. I don't know. But Rocky, you fucking son of a bitch. Because right after that, he kind of looks over at Trish and he screams out, "Look, Trish, I will protect you till my dying breath." Kind of cute. And Trish kind of like smiles at him, which was kind of cute. And I remember you guys see some of my reaction when I drop it, which will probably drop a little after the review has been uploaded. You got Trish, and and I'm like, like I said before you see his reaction, but I'm like, oh, that's like, I low-key shipped him. This would actually kind of work. If this ends up being the ship at the end of the series, it low-key it makes sense. I low-key shipped it. Rocky, you clearly didn't have that same idea, you son of a bitch. Bastard. You son of a bitch. Fuck you, Rocky. We'll get to that in a moment. So then after that, we get back to Trish and Mista asks for his bullets. He says, "Just give me them all. They're in my boot." And so Trish hands him over to him. Now right here we see right here first, I thought my TV actually glitched for a second there, but actually it was the work of Emperor Crimson. So like I said, he moves a little bit. He moves forward in time a few seconds. I thought my TV glitched out on me, or my tail box did anyway. But no, it was the work of Emperor Crimson. So they're kind of looking around. They find out Mista knows that there's a bullet hole on the ground, and then he opens his hand, and all his bullets are in there. And on the ground, there's 4 bullets, which of course Mista hates that number. And for the first time ever in this entire series, he was actually right to be fearful of this godforsaken number. Fuck the number 4. I hate this number with a burning passion. It is the worst number in the history of numbers. Fuck number 4. So Mista's of course freaking out. He's asking Trish, drop one more bullet for the love of. And I'm like, fam, she gave you all of yours. One more. You dropped the bullet. You had them all in your hands. Just put one more on the ground. Like, what the hell are you doing? And Misa's like losing his shit. He's like begging and pleading Trish to drop one more bullet. And they're all kind of looking around, looking for Emperor Crimson. And Trish is just like, how do I not feel his spirits? Like I did before, what's going on here? So they're just looking around. And they're just looking around and Giorno's kind of suspicious of whether or not that's actually Diavolo in Bucciarati's body. And Polnareff mentions that you switch with the Narancia, me still with Trish. It only makes sense that Bucciarati would switch with Diavolo. And he's like, I know that, but he's down right there. And they also mentioned that his range is only 2 to 3 meters at max. So how is he able to do that? Then they notice some blood dripping down. First, we see one of Giorno's ladybug things, pins or whatever those things are, on the ground. Blood. They pan up the wall. You see more blood dripping down. And then, after everyone else is kind of like looking up in shock, and what happens? Giorno kind of runs through, kind of gets through them all, and then we see it's technically Giorno's body, but Laurancia in it. Laurancia up into these like poles, head it like pierced throughout it, man. It looked pretty nasty. Probably won't use it in the thumbnail, but it was a really nice shot. For obviously, because I don't like putting spoilers in my thumbnails. That's just not how I. It's just in case there's someone that might be watching the series who maybe subscribe to channel, find out my videos, and then boom, they find out that character dies in the thumbnail. I hate it when YouTubers do that, so I'm not gonna do that myself. I don't do that myself, man. But anyway, it was a really nice shot. Anyway, so they just start sprinting. Everyone else is like, get him down there, get him down. So Bucciarati obviously gets him down, and Giorno starts to charge with his magic. And then Narancia's eyes open. And Misa is like, oh thank God, you son of a bitch, how are you, how are you feeling? And then Giorno is the bearer of bad news, where he says, he's dead. His physical wounds are healed, but he's empty. He's nothing more than an empty vessel. And we actually see like this really cool shot right here, where we see like a hologram of like, I guess, Giorno's spirit, I guess. And we can see him like talking, like going through Laurancia's body into his own body. And he's kind of like talking through it, and he mentions that he can have both bodies if he really wanted to. He's that empty, Which I thought the shot right there was really cool. So then, of course, Giorno goes back into his body, and Laurancia falls, and Misa screams out, Laurancia! And then we head over back to Fugo. He's walking downstairs. You see like the shadow of a plane or a bird, actually, but it kind of low-key looks like a little bit like a little bomber that was probably done on purpose from Iraqi. But he kind of like passes right by Fugo, and Fugo looks up in the sky. And then we head over back to where Abacchio died, and we see in the clouds the shadow of a bird that looks like a little bomber, and it kind of just flies into the distance as we get this giant wide shot of that area of that island or whatever where they found where Abacchio was killed. So then after that, it's when we finally kind of figure out what's going on with Diavolo and which body he's inhabiting and how he's able to do this. And then Polnareff mentions that, I think at first he said something about like, is there like 2 Diavolos? And that's when head down between Doppio and Diavolo. Because they are 2 separate souls and haven't stayed bound because of, schizophrenia or whatever. Polnareff goes on explaining how, pretty much explained like, traumatic events could have someone's soul kind of like split into 2, and then, eventually they become their own 2 separate personalities, i.e. multi-personality disorder, schizophrenia, and that from there, that they end up being like 2 different souls. And they mentioned something about how the physical appearance could change, a person's physical appearance could change depending on which personality is dominant at that current moment. Which obviously, if you guys have seen Split, you have seen this firsthand. That's probably the reason I know most of this shit and before Polnareff explained it, because I watched Split. Great film, by the way. Great film. So anyway, after that, so they kind of, and then after he explained, that's when they kind of figure out, and then Bucciarati's like, well, that's one snare, but he can also suspect that he might not be anywhere near her because he's probably too looking for the arrow. And Polnareff reminds him, like, your priority right now, it should be the arrow. Forget where Diavolo is. Get the fucking arrow. So they're kind of, So after that, they're kind of like, they're about to go off and go chase after Silver Chariot Requiem, and Trish mentions like, "Oh, you're just gonna leave him right now? What about your mangled body over there?" And Misa comes in, and is like, "Don't worry, I didn't hit anything, Bob, but he's gonna stay down for the count for a while." He made sure of that. And so they all decide, okay, we're off to the races. And actually, Giorno, before they run off, Giorno like puts his hand by the wall and says, you know, "I'm not gonna let anyone hurt you anymore. When we get back home, and we're bringing you back home, that's the problem." And he gets off the wall and he runs off. And then we see these plants turn to flowers that surround Naranjo. I guess I'm assuming to work as like a makeshift grave for the time being, or what? I don't know. I don't really know what the flowers meant to represent, but it looked kind of cool. So anyway, they're off to the races, chasing off again. Silver Chariot. But actually, right as we're running out of the Coliseum, if the camera focuses on this dark, shadowy area, as everyone passes, once Trish passes through, you see the face of Emperor Crimson. And Trish kind of stops and looks around. She probably feels Diabolo's presence somewhere. And Misa's like, "Hey, what's the holdup? Come on!" And so they're running off. So, and by the way, I don't know what happened, but it was literally like nighttime when they left. Literally like their past seconds. But then once they get over here, it's like sunrise. Like, how? But whatever. I don't know about that. But anyway, so they're like running towards Silver Chariot Requiem. We actually see the cop that switched bodies with a criminal. Yeah, so the criminal is inside the cop's body, and he's kind of like looking around, and then he notices Trish, and they closed up on her legs, and he's like, "Ooh," it's like, "Hey, baby, you're under arrest. Let me show you how these cuffs look on you." And so as this dude is charging towards Mista pulls out his revolver and shoots him in the mouth. Oh, if you didn't know, it's get crazy. It gets crazier than that, ladies and gentlemen. Mista then takes the man's cuffs, takes one of them and cuffs it to the pole, and the other one to the hole inside of his mouth. Ow! I tweeted this out when I saw the episode, man, but Mista is a fucking savage. Absolute fucking savage. So anyway, so they finally catch up to Silver Chariot Requiem. Silver Chariot Requiem pretty much doesn't pay him no mind at all, and it doesn't care. So Butcherai easily like just trips him. He drops the arrow. Giorno tries to grab it, but you see some Golden Wind coming out of his hand, and then the rest of Golden Wind is coming out like this crack in the street. It's just like, "What's up, fam?" You know, just staring at him. You know, so then he pulls away and it goes away. He then tries to throw a rock at it, and it comes right back towards him, which Mista catches. And then they're kind of like, okay, they can't get close. What are they gonna do now? So then Polnareff mentions, what if someone that wasn't a stand user was to try their luck? And Mista's like, "How the hell should I know? Do I look like a stand scientist to you?" So then my man, Polnareff, goes in there and actually grabs the stander with his mouth, and he's like, I have been reduced to a turtle, so I don't have a stand anymore. So he pulls it up, then Silver Chariot gets up and starts charging towards him. And he's telling Mista to, impale his stand with this thing. And then, to be continued. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, cliffhanger once again. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, fuck Araki, fuck the number 4, and fuck David Productions. Anyway, guys, in all seriousness, this episode is fucking phenomenal. Crazy shit going down. Can't wait to see how this is all going to end up, ladies and gentlemen. So overall, I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like, links in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.